Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to Lumiere channel. We're doing a Gemini season reading. Definitely missed Taurus season guidance, but let's not talk about that. What is the guidance for Gemini season? I just feel like Gemini season is gonna be a lot. Like a lot. So I feel like this is needed. I need it, I guess. Man, 2x2s keep coming out. What's the guidance? I'm done here. Alright. I did a weekly reading for this week. And I also wanted to use this deck. This is the Green Oracle. I say that because there's a lot of earth stuff. Like a lot of grounding, almost like earthy, planty stuff. It feels like stabilizing energy. Earth is also, like, when I think about pentacles, it's very long term. It's like the most, to me, long termy of the suits in the tarot. And I'm really kind of glad that these cards came out, and I feel like they can be intertwined, like interchanged between this and that. I feel like all aspects of their energies are present in this guidance. Spirit of place and protection is a thing. And Field of Dreams is something that has been coming up a lot lately in terms of, like, what are you planting? Where are you putting your focus? Spirit of place, to me, gives me a story of, like, where are you? Or where do you want to be? And are you planting the seeds? Are you nurturing the garden, aka yourself and the world around you, to get to where you want to be, or to get to what feels like home inside yourself, you know? I want to read Spirit of Place because I feel like it's a really powerful message, and I want to get as much of it out as possible. In the reverse, it says, first off, it says something really key. Authenticity is the essence of power. And I really like that because I do feel like this is really big kind of energy, you know? I mean, it's definitely spanning over a season, and it's doing a lot. It's heavy. I mean, this Gemini season, we have an eclipse. We have a bunch of retrogrades in major planets starting, and that always creeps me out. I know that was something that was like, it's just, it creeps me out, bro. And with this earthly, you know, energy coming up, to me, the earth is quite long lasting in the sense of, like, again, pentacles, they're hard. They're longer lasting, those messages, in a way. They're about longevity. They're about, you know, trees and how long it takes for them to grow into, like, it's like depth, you know, like, what seeds are you planting? What are you doing? Where are you? Are you in you? Are you planting in you? You know, it's like, what are you doing? And the guidance is, I love that it says authenticity, because it really is like one of the initial messages that comes to my mind of, like, are you being true to yourself, or how are you talking to yourself? How are you setting yourself up? You know, what are you doing or not doing to be closer to you? And I mean that in like closer to like you, your truer self, your higher self. You know, what are you saying to yourself, or what are you excessive about that takes you away from you? And this is such a complex message, because that stuff takes time to form a being, to form a habit, to break a habit, to plant a seed, to nurse a garden. It takes time. Don't get entangled in details or desires that obscure the truth of your situation. Step back and ask yourself, what is the real nature of my inquiry? Even exquisitely seductive agendas cannot conceal this. Trust your intuition. The spirit of place is whispering in your ear. You hold the power to tell the truth, first to yourself, then to the world. You can always distinguish between an essence that is true and one that is synthetic. Be honest with yourself and remain willing to let your situation be revealed for what it really is, not what you want it to be. An apple cannot become an orange, just as a dog can never be a bird. Are you trying to change someone or something to suit your agenda? Only when you see things as they truly are will you find the real treasure. And this is hard. I just did the weekly reading, and it very much had this energy. It was weekly forecast, weekly guidance, not giving a F. I highly recommend that you go watch that if you haven't already. I don't know how to put the cards in and stuff, but you'll be doing yourself a service to watch that, because that I go deeper into this essence of, excuse me, I don't know, I get so gassy, like just burps. I think I'm taking too much air. Of being present to what is happening right now. And the short of it is, and I really do still recommend watching that, because it goes into a little bit more depth and more of a process to getting to that point, and somewhere in that process you might gain a nugget for yourself. But that experience of not be like, the past is the past. It's happened, but also it's still changing, because our perspective in the present changes how we view the past. And our future is not set in stone. Anything can change, anything can happen. And so all we really truly have is the present. All we really truly have is the present. And Spirit of Place has always to me been a card of being in the present, like the spirit of the place. You can't be a spirit of, you can, but it's not the spirit of the past. It's not the spirit of the future. A place is a present situation to me. It just rubs me that way. She's here. She's stuck in the present. She's in the present. She's in this moment right now. And I love this line that says, be honest with yourself and remain willing to let your situation be revealed for what it really is, not what you want it to be. And in that reading, we talked about making decisions from that place. This is talking about planting seeds from the place of where you really are. You can still make goals and plan and dreams and plans and processes for the future, but you cannot guarantee that. There was a time in my garden, my mother was planting all sorts of seeds, and there was a random ass sunflower that gloriously grew in the garden. And we were all like, who did that? Who planted that? We don't know who planted that. The birds probably like pooped, or it was in the soil, or it was like, shit just happens sometimes. What's my point? What even if you plant certain seeds, some of those seeds may not make it. They may be competition in the roots. They may not have a stable root system, but some of those seeds will make it. And you don't know which ones are going to make it and which ones won't. But you still want to plant the seeds. You still want to plant as many seeds as you can, but you want to make sure that you're planting things that, like, you have a bit of a detachedness from it. But making sure that you're planting seeds that make sense for your season that you're in, for the place that you're at. Certain things won't grow in the soil that you have. So what do you need to do to attend to that? This Gemini season, I feel like it's about really looking at yourself, really looking at where you're at, and using where you want to go as a marker, by looking at where you're at right now in your situation and making a step, or taking steps from there. Spirit of Place also talks about, it talks a lot about truth. Where are you lying to yourself? Where in your life are you living inauthentically? You know, real talk, like, are you behaving in ways that are no longer true to you and are keeping you prisoner to how you used to be and how you used to enjoy being identified as, but they're no longer feeling good. They no longer are serving you in the way that they used to, and they perhaps need to be tweaked. What things do you have in your home that just don't vibe with you anymore? Be honest with yourself and remain willing to let your situation be revealed for what it really is, not what you want it to be. And sometimes this means observing, looking, watching your life from an observer's perspective and making notes and going from there, acting from there. Only when you see things as they truly are will you find the real treasure. I really, this card is always so deep. Like, the message behind this one is always so deep. But I want to move on to Field of Dreams and see what that comes with before I start going in on that one. It says your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are always engaging the vast field of pure potential. This is the perfect time to harness the field of vast potential not yet realized in your life, which is lovely. And the Spirit of Place is preparing us by looking at where we are at in truth, not in judgment, not in this is right, this is wrong. Honestly, you need to go read that weekly forecast weekly. You need to go watch that weekly forecast weekly guidance, because it does flesh out this idea a lot more. But yeah, looking at it, I love this level though, like this other side of that message, which talks about like truth and authenticity and really looking at something specific in this way, the place that you're at, and moving from there. Great abundance is yours if you're willing to do the work alongside the gentle gardener. Be clear about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Concentrate on your best life regardless of the temporary outer conditions imposed upon you by the greater world, which has its own story to tell. You have a basket full of seeds that are quite powerful, for your talents are divinely inspired and will indeed lead to a great harvest to be shared with others. You will reap what you have sown. Dream big, dream beautiful, take action, and tend to the garden of your life, and experience the extraordinary. Now, what I love about this message is it came out like this, right? And I did this. It could have easily have come out like that, but this doesn't feel right at all. This feels right. However, I do feel like the duality in this message is really beautiful, and I want to get to the reverse of that. I want to get to where these messages are flipped, where the Spirit of Place is in the upright, and where Field of Dreams is in the protection position, because I do feel that that is a valid experience that will be ebbing and flowing during this Gemini season, which is hilarious because Gemini is a sign of the twins, the two sides, the two personalities. They're two like and similar but very different beings and entities. The two sides in us sometimes, if I want to go from there, that battle each other out. The want for being authentic and planting our own dreams, but then not knowing what is authentic to us versus what we've been told we should want or aspire to be. So, Field of Dreams in Protection talks about, are your dreams your own, or are they really someone else's? Have you chased money, possessions, or prestige? Have you placed security over fulfillment? Has approval seeking played a major role in the motivation to succeed? This is a time for you to assess the validity of your dreams, your talents, and your willingness to be a channel for inspiration and creativity. Don't be afraid to enter the field of dreams, for you can always clear the ground for new and better things to grow. Nature has a way of self-correcting. If you're willing to act with authenticity, the power to create is inside you. And that's the field of dreams in reverse. So Gemini season is taking people who are feeling inauthentic in their environment and helping them, our guidance, right, to help ourselves be more authentic and go towards the things that we want, using the present as a springboard, because you can't get to where you want to go without knowing where you're at. That's not even how the GPS works. It's just going to mess you, like, okay, it'll give you the location, but you won't know how many different ways to get there, or what the quickest way to get there is, or what the toll way. You just won't know, baby. You just won't know. So knowing where you're at now is the important step, and then looking at, okay, I want to go over there. Where am I now? What's going on now? Spirit of place in the upright. That message says, our ancient ancestors believed that every place has a spirit looking after it or embodying it. Just as we have a soul, the plants, trees, birds, mountains, and rivers have their own essences. Very Pocahontas here. When the spirit of place arrives in your reading, it says that the answer to your query is in the overarching theme of your circumstances. Is your question about a struggle? The answer is to relax and let go of your need to control the situation. If your inquiry relates to finding love, then embody love rather than long for it. Once you find the essential truth that underlies your question and then name it, you'll discover the answer you've been seeking. Your greatest power is your authenticity. And that is why I say this is such a deep reading, because the spirit of place is so complex in what it just said. So basically, she does this Confucius thing where your question is the answer, which is really difficult to wrap your head around. Is your question about a struggle? The answer is to relax and let go of your need to control the situation. Are you hearing me? If your inquiry relates to finding love, then embody love rather than long for it. Once you find the essential truth that underlies your question and then name it, you'll discover the answer you've been seeking. Your greatest power is your authenticity. So what does this mean? If your greatest power is in your authenticity, if your question is your solution, and if you have been living and planting seeds for dreams that no longer relate to you, or dreams that you've noticed aren't even yours because when you achieve them you don't get anything from there, dreams that don't represent who you are anymore, what then is authentic to you? If your question is about a struggle, the answer is to relax and let go of your need to control the situation. And that's a really hard mind game to sort of backflip on. This is time for you to assess the validity of your dreams, talents, and willingness to be a channel for inspiration and creativity. Don't forget to enter the field of dreams. If your dreams have not been your own, and you've chased things that haven't been yours, and you are approval seeking but want to be someone who seeks your own approval or has your own approval, then you have to have your own approval. Then you won't have to seek it, approval from outside. It's a mental gymnastic, and it's almost like you really, really, really have to put some work into like reverse engineering your query. So if Gemini season, is going to be a certain way for you, it's almost like going with the path of least resistance. But that can be really hard. At least I'm thinking about myself, and I can only think of how hard it would be, because essentially you're being asked to go against the nature that you have fostered for yourself, and that's uncomfortable. It's not going to feel authentic, because we tend to relate authenticity to like easy, but it really is hard to be authentic and do you when you haven't been doing, because now that's flexing a different muscle. And we mess up. We don't know how to do that. And it's scary. What do you mean I don't have to chase security and fulfillment? Or what do you mean I don't have to go for making that promotion or that money? Or what do you mean I have to choose? It's whatever your field of dreams may be, if it's in this transitional phase where you're noticing that the things that you thought you wanted are no longer what you want, the people you thought you wanted are no longer who you want, the dreams that you thought, it's a lot, man. How do you do that? And the spirit of place asks us to be authentic. Well, what is authenticity in those moments where you don't know who you are? You don't know what's going on. That's why I would say go watch that weekly forecast, that weekly guidance, because that is actually going to help. It's not easy, and it rocks people, but it's a wonderful thing. It really is. It's a beautiful message. Is your question about struggle? When the spirit of place arrives in a reading, it says that the answer to your query is in the overarching theme of your circumstances. Once you find the essential truth that underlies your question, you'll discover the answer you've been seeking. So what is the truth of Gemini season? What is the truth of this season? It's the type of dreams we're planting. It's the type of goals that we want to have for ourselves, dreams that we want to go after. And in order for us to do that, we have to be truthful to ourselves and see the truth. Not just tell ourselves, oh, I want to be rich and famous, or I want to have money, or I want to have a family. It's like, well, do you though? Are you acting in a way that you do want those things? What do you really feel about that? Or what else do you feel about those things? Where are you really at right now? Whoa, where are you at right now? And how does that reflect the things that you say you want? Well, I'm not really there. I'm overspending, or I'm not really dating, or I'm not really enjoying this relationship, or I'm enjoying this relationship, but, whatever your story is. Well then, how can you say you want that but this is what you're doing. Let's look at this a little bit more. And let's look at this a little bit more. Is this the thing that you really want? Then what's going on here? How do these two relate? What's the similarity? How is this going to get you there? How are you going to get here from this? The spirit of place asks us to look at ourselves with authenticity and that eye of truth. That eye of looking at where you're at realistically. Not realistically always sounds so awful. But with that eye of truth. You hold the power to tell the truth first to yourself and then to the world. And then to your field of dreams. First you look at where you're at, what you're doing. And Gemini season is inviting us to look at ourselves. In that way. In order for us to plant the type of seeds that we want. In order for us to nurture the type of seeds that we want to nurture. Because it's the perfect time to start doing that. I was listening to Amber Khan's The Revolution. I don't know her channel name, but she was explaining something about Gemini season and some of the transits. Was that her or was that someone else? I think it was her. But she was saying something about and this is a regurgitation. I don't really know where she gets her information from, but it resonates with me. So when I do watch here and there. And she said something that there's one of the transits or something is like up until like June 10th is a portal, and you make sure you blah 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 by June 10th. That's still in Gemini season. That is still something. So I really like that idea of what did she say that spoke to me about this reading? I don't know, something about sort of setting certain things in place during this season is basically where I'm trying to get at. Using the Gemini season as a sort of portal, this transitory phase for you to plant your garden. Because again, Gemini season, you know, when you think about if you work in a garden, you really do only have certain seasons, certain times to do certain things, or you've missed the growth cycle of this particular herb or fruit or whatever. And now is the time. Now is the spirit of Gemini season, the spirit of this place is for us to look at ourselves, our lives in truth and authenticity, and realize that it's a wonderful opportunity for us to plant some bomb-ass seeds for our future. Because again, with these transits that are happening, I don't know, I always feel like when big planets are moving around like that, big things are happening, you know? I just always feel like that. I don't know if that's fact or astrologically sound, but it always feels like it's time for like to put big things in place. Because those are the things that are going to get carried by the wind. Those are the things that are going to grow in the years to come because you sowed that seed in the now, you know? That's just how I feel about the big energy, so this kind of makes sense to me. Great abundance is yours if you're willing to do the work. Be clear about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Concentrate on your best life regardless of the temporary outer conditions imposed upon you by the greater world, which has its own story to tell. You have a basket full of seeds that are quite powerful, for your talents are divinely inspired and will indeed lead to a great harvest to be shared with others. Dream big, dream beautiful, take action, and tend to the garden of your life. And in order for those things to work, I think the work that we have to do is to look at ourselves, look at what we are doing, what we're not doing, and the truth of our situation, and not look at it in a judging way, but look at it in a practical way and go, okay, there is something that I need to work out. If I'm saying I want money, but I reject it whenever it comes to me, what's my real relationship with money? Do I really want money, or is there something going on with that I have to explore? And that, I believe, is good enough in planting the seed to having more money, or whatever you decide you're whatever that represents to you to plant. Because now you're putting the positive effort, you're putting the effort in authentically exploring your relationship with that thing. That's not easy. But it looks like the energies are really supportive of that. Really, really supportive of that. And that's really lovely. I love seeing that. You hold the power to tell the truth, first to yourself, then to the world. Be honest with yourself and remain willing to let your situation be revealed for what it really is and not what you want it to be. I love that. I love that so much. Y'all want to say something else 30 minutes into the video? That's the Eight of Wands. To me, this feels like blocking out external energies, external thoughts, and really looking at yourself. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, this this makes me go like that and really like that. Where you're blocking out external energies. This is you looking at the person in your life and saying, well, is this the kind of relationship that I want? Actually, yes. This makes me happy, even though the people in my life disapprove. Awkward. Or you go, actually, it's not what I want. You know, something like, I don't know your life, bro. Or you go, actually, I want to be a clown in the circus. I want to work in the circus. People in this day and age, they don't go to the circus, or they think it's dumb to go work in the circus. But honestly, I really just want to work in the circus. You know what I mean? Like it's like with Eight of Wands in reverse, I feel like it really is like you listening to yourself, like listening to your inner voice. Because I thought this was the Magician, but the Magician in reverse is creepy. I don't like that. So, but I feel like Eight of Wands being messages to me, it just supports the message in that, like, you can ask for so many opinions and but it's almost time for you to ask the spirit of your place. Ask yourself how you're doing, how you're feeling, and having that dialogue and opening that dialogue within yourself, with yourself, and exploring that, no matter how uncomfortable it's going to be. Uncomfortable, it's awkward. So that's your Gemini season. I'm gonna try and I guess do this. I don't know, I might do dailies for Gemini season. I might not. I never know what I'm gonna do. I should plant the right seeds. I wish you everything. Keep your light on and good luck.